Clint Eastwood, born Clinton Eastwood Jr. on May 31, 1930, in San Francisco, California, grew up in a time of great uncertainty. His early years were shaped by the Great Depression, which forced his family to move frequently as his father searched for work. This instability taught Eastwood independence, resilience, and the ability to adapt to change. He learned early that life required patience, hard work, and self-reliance. As a child, he was quiet and observant, more comfortable watching the world than speaking loudly within it. These traits would later become key to his on-screen persona, the strong, silent hero who conveyed meaning without many words. Before Hollywood discovered him, Eastwood had a variety of ordinary jobs that grounded him in real life. He worked as a lifeguard, paperboy, steel mill worker, and eventually served in the U.S. Army during the Korean War era. These early experiences gave him a sense of discipline, a practical outlook on life, and an understanding of human nature, which he would later bring to his acting and directing. Unlike many stars who seemed entirely shaped by Hollywood, Eastwood maintained a perspective rooted in real-world experience. This perspective helped him make choices that balanced artistic integrity with career growth. Eastwood's acting career began modestly in the 1950s with small film roles, but his first major breakthrough came with television. In 1959, he was cast as Rowdy Yates in the Western series Rawhide. The show ran for 8 seasons and made him a familiar face to millions of viewers. He was recognized for his calm, composed presence and his ability to carry a scene with minimal dialogue. Unlike other actors who became confined by television's success, Eastwood was determined to grow and take risks. In the mid-1960s, he traveled to Europe to star in low-budget Italian westerns directed by Sergio Leone. Movies like A Fistful of Dollars, For a Few Dollars More, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly transformed the western genre and introduced Eastwood's iconic Man with No Name. With his piercing gaze, minimal dialogue, and restrained presence, he created a new kind of cinematic hero. The films made him an international star and permanently changed the way audiences viewed action and Western films. Returning to Hollywood, Eastwood continued to reinvent himself. In the 1970s, he became Inspector Harry Callahan in Dirty Harry, a role that would define him as a symbol of uncompromising justice and personal resolve. The character was controversial because it reflected the tensions of the era, but audiences admired his strength, discipline, and moral code. Around this time, Eastwood also sought creative control over his work. He founded Malpaso Productions, which allowed him to direct and produce films on his own terms. His efficiency on set, willingness to trust actors, and respect for collaboration created loyalty among colleagues and fostered authentic performances. Eastwood's work as a director grew increasingly introspective over the years. Films like Unforgiven explored the dark truths behind violence and human behavior, winning multiple Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director. Later films, such as $1 Million Baby, Mystic River, Gran Torino, and Letters from Iwo Jima, reflected his deep understanding of human nature, moral complexity, and the passage of time. His creativity did not fade with age. It matured. Even into his 80s and 90s, Eastwood continued directing and acting, producing thoughtful, reflective films that explored legacy, forgiveness, and humanity. Beyond movies, Eastwood is also an accomplished musician, particularly as a jazz pianist and composer. Music has been a quiet but powerful influence in his life and work, enhancing emotional moments subtly rather than overtly. Despite his towering career, Eastwood's personal life has often attracted public fascination. He has maintained a reserved, stoic public image, but his private life tells a story of complexity, responsibility, and evolving relationships. His marriages, family dynamics, and approach to parenting reveal an individual who values independence, guidance, and moral lessons over control or fame. His first marriage, to Maggie Johnson in 1953, lasted over 30 years and produced 2 children, Kyle and Allison Eastwood. While Eastwood's career often kept him busy, he encouraged his children's independence, creativity, and personal expression. Kyle Eastwood pursued music, becoming a respected jazz bassist and composer, while Allison Eastwood became an actress and filmmaker. Clint supported their ambitions without pushing them to follow his footsteps, allowing them to grow into their own identities. While Clint Eastwood encouraged independence in his children, he faced challenges balancing career, fame, and family. During his son Kyle's upbringing, Eastwood trusted certain friends and colleagues, including Rob Reiner, to provide guidance and support. However, in recent reflections, Eastwood has acknowledged that some of Reiner's involvement in Kyle's life did not always align with his own values as a father. He describes situations where decisions, though well-intended, occasionally undermine the lessons he wanted to impart: resilience, responsibility, and self-reliance. Eastwood emphasized that these weren't accusations of malice, but rather differences in philosophy on how children should be raised. The tensions around Kyle's upbringing illustrate the challenges of parenting in a high-profile environment. Eastwood's work demanded long hours on sets, often far from home, creating gaps in day-to-day supervision. He relied on trusted friends and associates to support his family during these periods, but no one could fully replicate a father's guidance or share his values entirely. The result was a natural tension between well-meaning advice and the approach Eastwood believed was best. He has spoken openly about moments when Kyle faced conflicting guidance, which sometimes made growing up more complicated. These conflicts, Eastwood explains, were not unique to him or to Kyle. Many children of celebrities navigate similar challenges when external influences intersect with parental values. At the same time, Eastwood's parenting philosophy has always emphasized autonomy and learning from experience. He did not seek to micromanage his children's choices or achievements. Instead, he believed in providing a moral compass, encouraging creativity, and trusting them to make their own decisions. In interviews reflecting on Kyle's life, Eastwood noted that he wished there had been fewer external pressures and more alignment between those helping guide his son and the lessons he himself valued. These reflections highlight the delicate balance of parenting in public life: how to maintain authority, instill values, and allow children to develop independence while navigating influences outside the home. The story of Rob Reiner's involvement also provides insight into the challenges of collaboration in parenting. Eastwood admired Reiner as a filmmaker and friend, but recognized that guidance from a well-meaning adult could sometimes conflict with his intentions. In discussing these experiences, Eastwood has stressed that it is not about blame. Rather, it is about understanding how different philosophies intersect and affect the development of a child. By sharing these observations, Eastwood offers a rare window into how public figures manage family life under scrutiny. Juggling responsibilities, personal values, and professional demands. Beyond Kyle, Eastwood's family story includes his marriage to Dina Ruiz in 1996 and the birth of their daughter, Morgan Eastwood. Morgan grew up largely outside the Hollywood spotlight, with the freedom to explore her interests while still receiving support and guidance from her father. Eastwood's reflections about parenting and external influence extend to all his children, emphasizing that balance, observation, and principled guidance are crucial in raising children successfully. Through decades of experience, Eastwood has observed how different approaches to raising children can yield very different outcomes, and he has shared these insights with honesty and humility. In summary, Eastwood's reflections about Rob Reiner's mistakes are less about assigning blame and more about understanding the subtleties of influence, responsibility, and child development. They underscore the importance of consistent values, alignment between caregivers, and respect for a parent's role in shaping their child's character. By speaking openly at 95, Eastwood provides guidance, not just for parents in Hollywood, but for anyone navigating the challenges of raising children under complex circumstances. Clint Eastwood's later reflections go beyond his career and public image. They offer insight into his personal philosophy and legacy. At 95, he is not only an icon of film, but also a father who has observed life, relationships, and family dynamics with decades of experience. His commentary on Rob Reiner's involvement in his son's upbringing shows a careful, thoughtful approach to reflecting on mistakes and lessons. Eastwood emphasizes understanding, perspective, and the importance of guiding children without controlling them entirely. He recognizes that even well-meaning influences can sometimes conflict with parental intent, and that these conflicts are opportunities for learning rather than sources of resentment. Eastwood also reflects on the broader challenges of balancing fame and family life. While he became one of the most successful actors and directors in history, he was not immune to the strains that come with public life. Long hours on set, travel, and the demands of Hollywood often kept him away from home, creating the need to rely on trusted friends and colleagues. Yet, through it all, he maintained an underlying philosophy: support children, give them guidance, but allow them to grow independently. This philosophy is evident in Kyle's and Allison's successes, and in Morgan's path as well.